cyanotic, weak radial pulse, heart rate is 32, his blood pressure is 70/30. All lung fields are clear, his respiratory rate is 34. He's weak but responsive and oriented. All right, I'm gonna move on. Everybody ready to move on? Does anybody need to see anything again?
No, go ahead. You can move on.
Actually, do you mind putting the assessment again? 2 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know when you're ready to go.
Ready.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Elizabeth, tell me what rhythm you're seeing.
You see sinus Brady?
Okay. So, David, what are we most concerned about when we got a cardiac patient?
Well, in this case, I would be most concerned. I know that the heart rate's in the 30s, but I'd be most concerned that my blood pressure is 70/30, which would make him unstable.
Very good, because you want to make sure your MAP is usually around what number?
65. 60.
Around
60 to 65.
It's a target rate, but what is that ensuring, Mabel?
Perfusion. Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
What is a MAP above that level ensuring? What is that telling you? We want to target 65.
For the MA, for the map?
Yeah.
The target would be 60 to 65. Oh, why?
Amy?
Yes, it would be to ensure perfusion to the brain and the kidneys.
Right. Adequate end organ perfusion. Okay. Basically all our organs, but mainly we're concerned with those important ones, right? So, Octavia, would you treat this patient with the bradycardic algorithm right now?
No,
No? How come?
because the patient is hypotensive and not stable.
But what's the patient's heart rate?
32.
So is the patient bradycardic?
Yes.
Okay. And are we seeing that there's other symptoms involved?
Yes, chest pain, weakness, lightheadedness.
Okay, good. So, Mabel, why are we placing the patient on oxygen and IV access if we're thinking the patient may have poor perfusion?
He's cyanotic. We want to maintain the airway, and we may be thinking of administering atropine.
Okay, good. So we want to have access to it. Lovely. So Raquel, what do you think is our next intervention?
We would, one second. We would, since we have the IV access, we can atropine.
Great. How much do you get?
0.5 milligrams.
Okay. So we're seeing a rhythm that hasn't changed after atropine, and the poor perfusion still is an assessment. that is being maintained. So what will we want to do for a patient that's bradycardic and not responding to atropine?
Transcutaneous spacing.
Diana?
Oops, sorry.
We'll have to check what are the causes of the patient is being bradycardic and give them, if it's not responding to atropine, transcutaneous pacing maybe.
Okay, good. That would be your next step. So, Octavia, tell me how we set the monitor to pacing mode. Or the defibrillator, sorry.
Great.
Or just one step. You can say one step and we'll have the rest of your team help you. What's the first step?
Sync?
Okay, so change it to pacing mode, right?
Yes.
Anna, what else will we do?
After you change it to the sync mode, let it analyze the rhythm.
So something else that you need to ensure is that not only are the pacing map pads on the patient when you have a defibrillator, but you also have the leads on the patient, okay?
Yeah.
Second, to get the sleep the patient, okay? So Elizabeth, what rate will we begin? What's the default rate?
80 is usually
Usually starts at 60, but
60 to 80.
Mm-hmm. But we're gonna go into when we would change that and why. Okay. All right. So David, what two medications can we use as alternatives to pacing?
So medications that can be used alternatively to transcutaneous pacing, we could start a dopamine drip. We could also use, I don't know, I've never really seen epi in practice for that, but you could as well, I guess.
Yeah, it's on your bradycardic algorithm, and there are the two acceptable drips that you could start. Yes. Okay, so what rhythm are we seeing on the monitor, Amy?
He's in VFib right now.
Okay,
So I guess we would just defibrillate at this point.
Can we just defibrillate at this point?
CPR.
You can start CPR while the.
Third is what would you go to the defibrillator at this point?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear half of the question.
So the patient's in VFib now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the treatment for VFib?
So we'd start CPR and we'd want to defibrillate the patient.
In that order?
Well, we'd like to shock as soon as possible.
So shock, then CPR, right? Always remember, always that order.
Right.
Meticulously, methodically, procedurally, notely, courtly, everything that you will be involved in, you have to always say it according to this guideline, especially when it comes to a coding patient, okay? So they will catch you. I've been into I don't know how many people in this class have been in depositions, but I've been involved in 2 depositions, and it's just ridiculous, okay? So you don't want to be in that situation. You want to make sure that you are aware of what you have to say to them and what you did, and do it correctly for the benefit of the patient as well, okay? So anyway, that being said, right now, isn't our monitor on pacing mode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what would you do? It's easy, I told you. I'm not trying to trick you. Can you defibrillate the patient on pacing mode? So just
No.
right?
You have to change it
Okay.
to synchronized.
So you change the monitor, okay, right? What will we start the patient to shock this patient? What would you change your joules to?
200. 120.
Okay, you can start at 120, but we did try to pace the patient, and so it's okay to go either or, 120 or 200, okay? We always try to go lower, but so after you shock the patient, we defib, we
Continue CPR.
Continue CPR.
all right, Marina, what would you do next? Can I hear you, Marina, or do we lose you again? Yeah, I don't hear you anymore. You can tell me on the chat box. Oh, it's not to everybody. I see. So you gave the patient 5 cycles CPR. Mm-hmm. And we always, after CPR, what do?
Rhythm check, pulse check.
Rhythm check, exactly. We're ascertaining that this is still the rhythm, right? We're ascertaining that this is the patient still pulseless as well. So even though we're seeing it on the monitor, we want to make sure it's real. So if we shock the patient second time, we're going to shock the patient at what level?
300.
We already did 200, right? We had previously did. Mabel, what do we do after we shock?
Continue CPR and we can therapy.
So they're saying that we have multiple people in this code, which usually we do in a hospital. Diana, what's the compression to ventilation ratio? It's not a elevated airway or an intubation. It's just a back valve mask.
2 to 30. Okay, 2.
30, okay, yes. All right. Elizabeth, what medication we're gonna give?
Gonna give epi.
How much?
0.1 or 1 milligram, sorry.
1 milligram, yes. So we've given the epi and we complete the cycles. Raquel, what are we gonna do now?
We're gonna do a pulse check.
Yes, check pulse and check rhythm, right? Because now we're seeing something different. Monitor, right? And Lourdes, what rhythm is this?
Sinus.
Prior sinus Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's telling us our carotid pulse is at a 35. We always want to check carotids after you've given medications like this and also shock the patient or pace the patient. You want to kind of verify it. I'm asking, what else could you do? To verify a femoral pulse, okay? Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that it corresponds. So your patient is still bradycardic. So Octavia, what do you think we're gonna start thinking about now?
The patient is bradycardic, medications, blood pressure, H's and T's, all that good stuff.
All right, so how are we gonna resolve? Because she's basically back where we were when we started, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you want to put, where do we want to go? Where were we at the beginning? Diana?
Pacing.
Pacing, exactly. So how do we know when we capture a patient? What does that mean?
The QRS checks on the R wave.
What does that mean? Okay, that's thinking. Let's say, David, do you know what capture means? Why do we put it to 50 milliamps? What are we doing there?
Well, you're going to be going high up on the milliamp because you're going through all that tissue, as opposed to if you're using like a transvenous spacer, the MAs would be much lower generally.
Very good.
But in this case, you would be making sure that you have a spike and the capture. So you would see a spike on the screen, and then there should be a capture, which is actually a very wide QRS after that spike. You'll be able to see it. And if you have you should be able to put a blood pressure after that point that's going to be higher. And if it's not higher, you'd be going up on your rate. Since you have capture, you want to make sure that your stroke volume and heart rate equal cardiac output. So if it's too low after you're capturing, you could always go up on your rate to help with your cardiac output and increase your blood pressure as well.
Exactly. So our milliamps are only dosed according to capture. So what he's saying is absolutely correct. That's the most important part that you have to realize, that when do you stop increasing your milliamps? So according to what David just explained, and I explained, Diana, when would you stop increasing your milliamps?
When the blood pressure is adequate, when the patient is hemodynamically stable?
No. Milliamps. We're talking about first milliamps, then we're talking about blood pressure. So why would you stop increasing your milliamps when you page your patient? Marina? Oh, we can't hear you. That's right. What is your answer? Oh, here. Capture when a spike is before, after every QRS. Correct. So once you have a capture, like David had explained, capture means a QRS complex, sometimes wide. Not always will you see it wide, but generally it is. Then you know that you do not have to increase milliamps. And generally you go 2 to 4 above that level. So if you have capture at 50, you'd set it to 52. Okay? As an example. And then once you have capture, now you want to see, do I have a blood pressure, right? Mm-hmm. So what is my blood pressure going to determine if I have a QRS? That's just telling, what is the QRS after every pacing spike? Just telling you that you're pumping. The pump is working. So that means what? Perfusion, cardiac output, stroke volume, right? Okay, thank you. So now, what are we going to do after we know that that is effective? We're going to make sure that we get an actual perfusing blood pressure. And to do that, like David said, we can increase our heart rate, okay? So we will increase the pacing rate from 60 to 70 to 80 as needed, okay? Any other questions about that? Everybody understand? This is important because a lot of people look at ACLS as defib and what you can do with your monitor, but never look at the other functions of your monitor and how to use them. And this can be life-saving as well. And a lot of the monitors, remember, only go up in intervals of 5 to 10. So if you have to go up, then you can set it at that. Don't freak out that it says just 2. It's the gold standard. So what should we do now?
TTM.
TTM, what else?
Intubation, airway management.
Yes, exactly. And how long do we usually want to maintain our TTM? As a general rule?
About 24 hours at the gold temperature.
That's right. So, and usually our temperatures are usually How much? We're doing targeted temperature management.
33.
33.
Yeah, 32 to 36 around. All right, good job, last group. Make sure that you guys write in your Typhon notes. If you're not familiar with a pacing mode or pacing section, please review